Today I'm sharing clips from a conversation I had with the amazing lettering artist, teacher and creative coach Martina Flor. The full conversation is available over at illustration.community. We had a wide-ranging chat, but a theme we kept circling around is how important it is to share your work and to share your values and personality, and how to build confidence in doing that. Martina also shared her framework for how a new illustrator can begin to find clients and build up their portfolio. If you're not aware of Martina already, please go and follow her at Martina Flor, that's Flor. She shares so many useful tips for new artists, and she really was a big inspiration for me starting this channel, so it was a pleasure to finally meet her. And if you like this episode, make sure to subscribe. Enjoy. So you're clearly very popular among other creatives because you share your expertise with them. I wonder what kind of effect does your teaching have on your client work?
It was always feeding one another. I feel that the fact that I was always sharing and teaching what I could do best, which is lettering, kind of build up my authority in front of clients. So they, when they saw me really like publish a book and speak about my process and about the art, the craft of creating letter form so confidently, I think that really boosted my career in a positive way. And I think it was always a great way of building authority in for my clients or in front of my clients, but also with my peers or within my peers.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's almost like with each one of the pillars that you build up, the book, the workshops, the teaching, and the social media content, it positions you as a leader, I guess. Yeah.
I always, and I think this may be useful for your community, that I always encourage the people I work with and my coachees. I always encourage them to be themselves, to show, like, to build their identity as graphic artists, lettering artists, by showing all the different facets of their personality. Oftentimes we think that as artists or graphic artists, we are only valued by our work. So we believe that just showing the work and the beautiful images we create is enough. But I think that what can really differentiate you in the market is really showing other aspects that make you, right? So your own story, whether you're interested in sharing what you know and what you have learned with others, like it did for me, that really, I think, set me apart from other illustrators and lettering artists, and build my identity. So I always encourage them to just use all of the aspects of their personality and their story to really shape their identity beyond their work, right? The work is also the core, a core part of our identity, but all the other assets that you have as an illustrator or a graphic artist, build your identity and set you apart.
I know a couple of creatives who are kind of resistant to sharing too much of their process. They want to keep it. They want to keep it all secret.
Yeah.
Because I guess they think that nobody else can figure out how they do it. I'm not sure that's true. But did you ever feel any resistance to just kind of sharing everything you know?
I didn't. I never felt that resistance to, and I think that's why I'm the way I am, and I connect with my audience the way I connect, is because I don't see them as competition, right? Like, and I know that I've gotten this question often, like, hey, why are you sharing your secrets? Like, you're building, you're giving that all away to your competition, or what could be your future competition. And it's like, in a way, I don't think that anyone can do it the way you do it. And that goes for any graphic artist, like, people will connect with you not only because you do beautiful work, but also because you are in a certain way, you have a certain story, you speak to the people in a certain way. So they will connect with you for all of these different aspects. And so I don't feel that sharing my secrets will negatively impact my career. And I get a lot out of it. I mean, and you know about this, James. I think it's so rewarding to see or to witness, someone in your community or someone that you have impacted with your knowledge and the things that you share, the content that you share in a positive way, and see them like, hey, hear them saying, hey, James, thank you so much for that tip. It really helped me land that first assignment. Or James, I feel a lot more confident with my work and how I run my business nowadays. This is such a rewarding thing. And I wouldn't give that away, like up for anything. Yeah. In the very beginning, when I moved to Germany, I remember that I tried to consciously hide a few aspects of who I was, right? So on my website, I wouldn't say that I was a South American born illustrator or lettering artist. Yes, so I used to like hide or not mention a few aspects of my my past, my story, because I felt like people will label me in a certain way. Looking back, I think like I was labeling myself in a certain way, and that's why I was being biased with myself. And as I started sharing more about who I was, where I was coming from, the fact that I was an immigrant making a career in Germany, a totally different the totally different corner of the world, but also in a lot of ways, I came to a place which is in a lot of ways not very welcoming for a South American, which is like culturally, the language, the climate, is like everything was in a way against me. As I started sharing more about this, I think people started connecting more about with my story. So yes, this also circles back to the fact that, the more you embrace your story beyond the work that you do, the more people will connect with you. So if you're a vegan and you love animals and you are really passionate about that, and this is part of your values, mention it. Tell people that you're like this, because probably companies that align with your values will want to hire you, will prefer you over other artists that are not aligned with the vegan value, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you potentially cut out some clients that don't match with you, but they're the wrong clients, right?
Yeah.
You have a better fit with the right clients.
Totally. These are not your clients. Yeah. Whenever there's a lettering inquiry, I always ask the client to point out at the things that they feel connected to in my portfolio, because if I can take something from my portfolio and kind of reshape it for them, or use that as an information piece to create something for them that is going to make them happy, that saves me time, it saves them time, and at the end of the day, they will be happier with the results. So I think that oftentimes these comfort zones that we build as illustrators or graphic artists are also a great asset, are also a great way of saying like, hey, by doing this thing, I know that I'm doing it very good, and I know that I will deliver on that. So
I guess a lot of people, understandably, they want to put their stamp of their style into everything. The client, understandably, has their own goals for the project too. So when they meet in the middle, you got to negotiate that.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I always try to like infuse the mindset on the illustrators or lettering artists that I work with, that at the end of the day, you can always expand your portfolio by doing personal work, by doing personal projects. But when it comes to doing commercial work, you are providing a service. It's you are there as a facilitator of a certain outcome. And I think it is important for us as to succeed as a commercial graphic artist. You need to change that mindset, because I used to think that, or I see that often in graphic artists, that clients don't understand us and they want to make changes on our artwork, or they want to intervene on our artwork. And at the end of the day, you are providing a service, and you need to also be very empathetic, and you need to understand that the clients also want the project to succeed. You are a team. If you see the clients as someone who is trying to stop your creativity or to
Yeah.
limit your creativity, then yeah, you're not partners. You become a little bit like enemies, right?
I guess if you share your values and your work and your personality through your website and your portfolio, you're more likely to find clients that want to hire you to do what you want to do, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about confidence?
Yes.
Now, you share a lot of yourself. You teach. You've had a long time to build up confidence in your skills and your knowledge. Do you have any tips for newer artists and in how they can become more confident in themselves and their work?
I think one of the biggest shifts you can start doing to build your confidence is to start showing your work. I think that one of the biggest mistakes I did in the very beginning is just to kind of isolating from the rest of the world, and thinking that if I put in the work and I work long nights and long days, I would just make it, right? And I think one of the best things that you can do to improve your work and build your confidence and is to start showing your work and connecting with other people, right? Because you start getting feedback that you can incorporate in your work. You start seeing how people react to your work. You start also seeing that people likes your work, because as long as you hide it, people won't know that you exist. So I think the best way to start building confidence is by, making those small steps of like sharing your work consistently, and showing up and connecting with other people. Other shifts that made a difference for me, which I know that you mentioned this concept that I share often, which is this shift of like going from practicing and doing work that you never show to anyone to behaving like a professional and creating work, right? This shift from practicing to making. So I always mention that, for those that are just starting with their careers, I think an important shift is to go from, to start behaving as a professional even before you become a professional, right? So a major difference between amateurs and professionals is that professionals do work for clients and do paid assignments, and they start and finish their projects because they have a deadline, they need to invoice their projects, and they need to live from it. So even before you start having paid gigs, if you start behaving yourself as a professional artist, you will start making that shift from being someone that never finishes anything and has a bunch of sketches of a lot of different stuff scattered around your apartment, to becoming a person who has a portfolio and who has their process organized and who is, finishing what they say they will finish. So those are a few things that can help you build confidence as an artist. Ultimately, it's all about like producing a lot of work, seeing how your work progresses, because I think that as you see, when you can look at something that you did 1 year ago and compare it with something that you do today, and you see the big shift in quality, then you realize like, okay, this is working. This is having the things I'm doing are having an impact on my work. So this is how you start slowly building confidence.
I think a lot of people, well, this was certainly true of me. I won't speak for anyone else, but when I was trying to be an illustrator 15 years ago, I wanted to do all this work in private. build up my skills in private, and then enter the professional world at a higher level.
Oh yeah.
But the truth is, I just couldn't get to that high level without getting in at the bottom and working my way up.
Yeah, it's totally you would never make a career in the shadows.
A lot of the questions that we speak about in this community are exactly what you might imagine. How do we find clients is one of them. Do you have any tips on how an illustrator should go about contacting clients and finding work?
Yeah, so I have a bit of a framework for this. Before that, I think it's worth mentioning that most of us, whenever they ask us like, what are your dream assignments? We start mentioning like, oh, I would love to do this, campaign for Adidas or Nike or Apple or whatever. But I always say that what's better than a dream assignment is a real assignment, right? So to start landing those real assignments, you will want to start by approaching the people that are closer to you, right? So I have a bit of a framework that is like a concentric circle framework. So you are in the middle of that circle, and I'm drawing that in this. Yeah, I hope you can see this. So you are in the middle of that circle, right? So you start here, you're in the middle, and this first circle is the people that you know, right? So these are friends, family, acquaintances, right? So you will want to start there. If you're doing client outreach, you will want to start there, saying like, hey, people, friends, family, I am freelancing. I just launched my career as a freelance illustrator. I am open for assignments and for commissions, and I can help you like this, like this, like this, right? And you will start doing like warm outreach, you would say, to those clients, and it will be really easy for you because you know them. You don't have to start conversations with strangers, and they know you as well. So if they want to hire an illustrator or they need to hire a lettering artist, they will of course hire you because they already know you. It's easier to contact you, and they already know that you're a great person, and they would love to work with you. So that will be your first circle. And this is where you train yourself also. You train yourself in terms of like creating proposals for clients or negotiating your prices, or building a proper client onboarding process, right? And this first circle is where you train yourself. Then once you're trained, you can move on to the following circle, right? Which is like people, friends of friends, right? Or people that are kind of like in the circle of that, in a connection of that first circle, right? And these are people who are who you don't know. You know someone that they know, but you don't know personally. So you will have to also train yourself in terms of like, okay, doing outreach or starting conversations with people that you are not directly connected with, right? This is already training you in a different level. You will start conversations with people you don't know. You will create proposals and negotiate at a different level. And this second circle is also going to train you, right? And this second circle trains you for the big players, which is like Nike and Adidas and all of those dream assignments, which, you will have to probably be speaking with the creative director of Adidas or the creative director of Penguin Random House, right? And those conversations need to be efficient. You need to have your proposals prepared so that you can manage or handle those assignments in a professional way. So yeah, that's how I would approach client outreach, right? I would start by the things that you know so that you train yourself. And then you can move on to the outer layers, right? Because I think that the most scary part of doing client outreach is the cold calling and cold emailing. But oftentimes we forget about the fact that we actually know a lot of people. that we actually have a lot of connections, starting by looking at your phone and checking your contact list. All of these people is people that you can easily start a conversation with. And they also have businesses and companies and, the kind of people that needs your services as well. So I will always start there instead of like shooting for the dream assignments that are harder to
Yeah.
get.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go into a meeting with the creative director of Nike or Adidas without having some practice, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's like a nightmare, in fact.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and after like it will be a very traumatic experience. So after that one, you will be like, oh, no, I'm a total failure. I cannot do this. This is not for me, right? Whereas if you start by something that is easier for you,
Mm.
then you will start building that confidence that we were talking about. That you start getting those small wins that are the ones that build up to build your confidence.
How do you approach goal setting with your career?
I love goal setting. But I think that a goal setting is for artists is something um, that can also change the way you go about your year. If you go about your year with the expectation of like you would take any job that will come your way, and that you will you will hope that there will be jobs coming your way, then you are giving up control and you're leaving things up to luck.
Mm.
Whereas if you set up goals and you say like, okay, I'm gonna do reach out every month, or a client outreach every month at the end of the month, and I'm gonna then update my portfolio three times a year, and you set up these goals of like keeping certain aspects of your business running, and improving certain aspects of your business through that, then you're more in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I think with many illustrators, it can be kind of reactive. You just kind of see what comes up, and then decide if you want to do that thing.
Mm.
For others, it's more purposeful.
Mm.
You decide on your target, and you just do whatever you can do to get to that
Yeah.
goal. I think I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I see every new week or new month as a time to set a new goal,
Mm.
and usually, maybe I only get through half the month before it goes to hell, but
Mm.
it's okay because I can start again next week, and it's,
Yeah.
it's all fine. And I like working like that because, yeah, it gives me a sense of control,
Yeah.
like I'm being purposeful about my career.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And going back to what you just said, like, setting up goals for a month or for a quarter, at the end of the day, achieving that goals breaks down into tasks that you have to do every day or every week, right? Um, and I think that what makes it doable when you have a goal and you just have it as okay, I hope that someday I will write a book. Then if you don't break it down into like actionable tasks that you can do every day in order to, at some point of the year, publish that book, then it's just a hope. It's not really a goal. um, and I think there's something powerful about setting up that goal and then finding ways or understanding what are the steps that are going to take you um, towards achieving that, which
Yeah.
at the end of the day is work. Is sitting down and doing the work. And yeah,
Mm.
oftentimes we get this wrong image from social media that everybody is born a star, and that's not true. I started from my my room, like working out of my room, and having like very sloppy computers and technology, and kind of making my way through assignment by assignment. And I want to say that all of the feelings of insecurity and self-doubt that you have are totally normal and are part of the process. And many of these feelings of insecurity will stick around. And as you grow up as an illustrator, as a graphic artist, you will be kind of pushing through different boundaries, and every boundary will create a sense of doubt or self-doubt in you, because it means that you're moving away from your comfort zone and you're, exploring new ground, right? So that is just part of the process. Feeling what you're feeling right now is just part of the process. What you need to remind yourself is that you keep going, because those feelings of self-doubt are just a sign of just a sign of you pushing beyond what you can do right now, and that means that you're growing.
If you want to avoid those kinds of feelings, you could go work in a job that you hate and you find boring and easy.
But then you're trading. I always say that you're trading the problems, like you're actually trading problems there.
Yeah.
So you have other type of negative feelings. I think a lot about building a successful life is choosing which problems you want to have and with which problems you want to deal with. And yes, and self-doubt and criticism and all of that you will face as an artist, but that's part of the job.